Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Allegro. Thank you so much for coming back to watch yet another video. And if you are new here, please do take a moment to subscribe to the channel and join our growing YouTube family. Now, I recently came across a video of a young lady. I think she's based in the US or the UK. Judging from her accent, I think she was from America. And I don't remember her name, otherwise I would have linked it. But she basically released a video on her YouTube channel speaking about the fact that she feels like she is a failure, and she had gone through a number of things that she detailed in the video. She detailed that her marriage had ended, and all of these things happened before 30. So she said, she is a failure because she was married for 5 years, the marriage ended, she had been struggling to find a job, and when she eventually did find a job, she was fired from that job, and everything just seems to be a dead end in her life. She grabs onto something and then another dead end, and so on. And now her age is going, every year she's getting older, and she thinks, well, according to society, according to how I've been raised, I should have accomplished X, Y, Z. I don't have a child. I'm a divorcee. I don't have work. I'm now struggling to even find any kind of work, from call centers to marketing to whatever, she explained that she's not even doing career-wise. She's not doing what she studied because she's just really struggling with work, and she'll take anything that is offered to her, anything that she can just pay the bills. And she was just basically venting and stressed out on the video. And I thought to myself, there's so many people that feel like that in society, and we have society to blame for how those people are feeling, because as we know, there's so many pressures that are put on us with every decade of our lives. In our 20s, we are expected to behave a certain way, having learned certain lessons and do certain things, especially, as women. I feel like sometimes society is a little more lenient towards our male counterparts, but nonetheless, there are pressures for both genders, And in our 30s, we are expected to have, maybe by late 20s, start a serious relationship, or by then you are married. You have children. If 35 hits as a woman and you don't have your first child, everybody's like, oh my gosh, when are you having a child? What's happening with you? What's wrong? Everybody is prying in your life like, gosh, she doesn't have a child yet? You're not married yet? What's going on? What's happening? And it's just one thing after another. Perhaps you keep changing careers. You did one thing for a decade, maybe in your 20s. In your 30s, you switch it up and you want to do something else. You go back to school. And while you're studying, not knowing that that is part of your plan, people are talking behind you. Family members at family gatherings are saying, well, she can't seem to hold a job. She's moving from one job to another. I hear she's back to studying again. She doesn't know. She's so indecisive. She doesn't know what she wants or who she is or who he is. So many things that it's people, it's different voices. And I feel like we need to really, really have a bit more grace. In fact, a lot more grace for ourselves, and extend that grace to other people. Life is different. Life is different for everyone. We all walk different journeys individually. So my path is not going to be your path. You are not going to walk the exact same steps as I have walked, as I am still to walk in my life. You may have a child or children before you reach 30. Some people have those children or that one child in their late 30s, some even in their 40s. And so on. So to look and think that you're better than your neighbor because your neighbor doesn't have a car, your neighbor doesn't own a house yet, your neighbor isn't married yet, they're not even in a serious relationship, so let alone kids. Or perhaps they've got a couple of kids, but they're not married. They keep hopping from one relationship to another. You don't know that perhaps that neighbor, perhaps that friend, that person you claim to be a friend, perhaps they've been going through all sorts of abuses in one relationship to another. And instead of settling out of fear and sticking to that one relationship, they find the power within themselves to get up and go and look for something better. And now in your eyes, that may seem like they're hopping from one relationship to another, but they are seeking better because they know they deserve better. Instead of staying in a situation that does not serve them, in a situation that only deteriorates who they are and leaves them with nothing. So instead of looking at our neighbors, looking next door, looking at colleagues, at, people and saying that you don't have a child yet, they may be going through something that has nothing to do with you, that it's not even your business. It may be a health issue. It may even be just the fact that perhaps they don't want children. We are not all meant to have children. I believe we are all born and created to be creators, but not everybody wants to be responsible for another life. And that's something that you don't even have to understand or agree with. So you may have your happy family and your children, but that doesn't mean that your friend, your neighbor over there is not happy with their childless life. They may be married, and perhaps it's just the agreement between themselves as woman and man, wife and husband. You know, perhaps both of them just don't want children, or maybe it's a phase. They don't want children in this phase of their lives because they focus on other things. Maybe they're studying, maybe they want to travel the world, maybe they want to set up businesses. And when they're comfortable enough, they will then start their families. So these pressures we put on ourselves and you know, these pressures that society heavily puts on us, that you should have this as a woman by this age. You should have this as a man by this age. You should be able to provide for your family as a man while you are still establishing yourself. How are you going to do that? You know, so many men end up committing suicide. I believe even the rates of suicide in South Africa, it's more men committing suicide than women. It's the societal pressures. It's the pressures at work, the pressures of family, you know. And it's all too soon for some people. When you're not ready for something and you feel like your back is against the wall and you're being forced into behaving and being a certain thing that you're not ready for, eventually you explode, you lose it all, you know. So life is an individual journey. It's not a race. Everybody is walking their own journey. And I believe at each of us at our own pace. I'm not trying to finish this race quicker than someone else. I want to enjoy every phase of my life. And I hope that you do too. And do not ever feel like you are a failure. You know, I wish I would remember that young lady's name, because I would tag her on this video and I would share the video that she posted, because it was really heartbreaking. And that inspired me to put this video out, knowing that there are so many others like her, so many that were in her comments, you know, saying the same thing, how they come from failed marriages, men saying that they come from failed marriages, failed relationships, they've got trust issues. Some of them are battling with custody battles for their children because they can't see their children anymore and their ex-wives or ex-girlfriends have moved on with life. It was such a comforting venting space for people, just from that one video that I don't even think she expected would be viral, but it went viral because so many people felt the same way. And I hope that this video encourages you. You may be going through the same thing, thinking the same thing, you know, thinking, well, I haven't accomplished much this year. My life hasn't amounted to much in the 20-something years I've lived, in the 30-something, 40-something years I've lived. But trust me, if you sit back and you shut out everybody else's opinions about you, society, your family members, even your loved ones who may mean well in asking, but in fact are hurting you, if you shut all of that out and you honestly ask yourself, what have I accomplished? Who am I? What is my purpose? Where am I headed as a person? Am I happy? Have I been happy in the past? And perhaps that happiness was taken away from me because I listened to all of the negative people around me. And then you start to realize, I believe you'll start to realize that you are not a failure. You have accomplished so many things. You are a survivor of things that would have broken and killed and just destroyed so many people. They wouldn't come from where you come from. They wouldn't have gotten up and dusted themselves up, but you did. So you are not a failure. And I hope that you know that. And I'm not just saying this because I want to be encouraging. I'm really saying this because I believe that no one is an absolute failure. There are things that we are all great at. It may even be just the fact that you continue to push through life every single day, no matter how bad things get. You always find the strength within yourself to continue to push through because you want to see better. You want to see a better life for yourself. You don't give up. That makes you a fighter. That makes you resilient. That makes you want better for yourself. You still have faith. You still have hope and you're still pushing through, you know. Failures are people that sit and say, okay, I did that once, I'm not going to try again, and that's that. I'm going to sit in this position that I'm in, and I'm going to hold a pity party for myself and just let it be. And they don't want to move forward. But here you are, excuse me, here you are, pushing, fighting for a better life for yourself, for your loved ones, for your family, your children even. You know, you're doing better for yourself. The most important thing is to start with you before anybody else can enjoy the fruits of your hard labor and how hard you worked on to be the best version of yourself. It's you who needs to understand that I'm doing it for me. I am not a failure. I am not a failure. I want you to say that so many times to yourself. You are not a failure. I hope this video encourages you to think positively about yourself and to let society's ideologies and everything else that they have believed over the years, over centuries, not affect you. Because again, it's your journey, it's your path, it's the steps that are designed, that God has placed for your life, are for you only. And they will happen for you the way they're meant to happen. You know, don't compare yourself. Don't compare yourself to your friends. I don't care who is succeeding, who looks like they're having the best life, a happy life. You do you, and you live your best life. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will chat to you in the next one. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Bye.